That is what we work on, an EPP program, and the first time in history of this continent, a continental campaign, where Angela Merkel has the same approach like Rui Rio has as a message, for example. Because I want to achieve a real European democracy. I know that's a long way to go, don't get me wrong, but we have to bridge the gap between the citizens and the European decision-making process. We discuss and decide so much on European level about our today's daily life, about data protection in the internet and so on. And we have to bridge it, that the people feel involved. Not bureaucrats, not elites should decide in Europe. Politicians, elected politicians must decide. And then when we can achieve that next year, the first time in the history of this continent, a member of the European Parliament can become Commission President. Victor has to change his way. He has to change this legislation,
and that's why you were not convinced that he was ready to make that change.
He was
made there in Strasbourg.
Exactly, not a speech of compromise. It was even a provocative speech, because he was mixing up the legal questions with the migration things. Because he said publicly that I'm here punished because I was building up a fence. Nobody was discussing this among the debate. It was about the two cases I already mentioned. And it's about fundamental principles. I talk a lot about my EPP internal responsibility on this. But we discussed in the group meeting in Strasbourg with Viktor Orban for more than 2 hours. Very honestly, 40 colleagues were asking for the floor from Poland, Germany, Portugal, from all over Europe, and asked Viktor, you have to change your thing. But there was for the moment 0 minutes discussion in the European Council about Poland and Hungary. 0 minutes. Macron is publicly attacking Viktor Orban as a political opponent, publicly. They are using this for a big show, let me say, but when they sit together, they have obviously no time to discuss the issue. And that is not acceptable at all. We had already talks with both parties, CSD and PSD, and they have not yet decided. So I'm still campaigning in a way. I'm still trying to convince. And what I can offer is, again, this bridge building aspect and this democratization. That is my main message. The most important thing for me is, I have to insist in this, is this question of democratization and bringing it closer to people. When there is, for example, fires going on in Greece or here in Portugal in the summer period, I think the representatives of the European Union must be there, must show solidarity, must be close to people. When there are events going on who are touching people all over Europe, moving people all over Europe, because it's on all the newspapers, all the media, then Europe must be close to people. We have to overcome this technocratic perspective towards Europe. We have to make it close to people. And I must tell you that today's government is working on base of the previous decision, not so much on today's decisions. They are really profiting from the previous decisions, especially when it is about economy. The more problematic thing is probably that Portugal has today a growth rate of 2%. That's not bad, but compared with the rest of the European Union, it's not really strong. We have, I think, they are on the 20th place when you have the list of all the growth rates in the European Union. Well, it's too early to speculate about the posts, because I'm not yet nominated as the EPP candidate. So we go step by step.
What is your opinion about Mario Centeno?
I respect absolutely what he is doing as Eurogroup chair. So there he has a clear line in a way that what we have probably to understand out of the last crisis on Euro is to do all these steps in a way to listening more to each other.